not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about one-night stands and running around rampant with other women. That's not the kinds of when I say more than one woman relationship. It is apparent that most of them, not all of them, it's certainly up to the man, do love more than one woman. Who told us that was cheating? Where did that idea come from that that's cheating? And if it hasn't taken anything from me, if I'm not going short of anything, then what kind of hell are you going to go through to prevent that? Since we cannot stop him, we can be the woman or the other woman.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Tynisha Renee here. We have a channel favorite returning back, Miss Tara Chantel. I know you guys love when she's on my channel, and I love when you come in because I feel like we're each in our own respective different lanes. But our frequency is just always we here, like we vibe. Today's topic, I don't know how some of y'all gonna feel about it. You might be triggered, but it's okay. We'll work through it. We are going to be discussing non-monogamy. Specifically, we're going to be talking about if monogamy is something that is realistic for most men, and if women should be considering entering non-monogamous relationships.
And I want to clarify because I think people think of non-monogamy or polyamorous instantly sex. Like, oh, you have sex with everybody. That is not the case. Expand our minds and not even ultimately go towards sex as the first result.
Okay, so how do you feel about monogamy? Let's start there.
Monogamy, I knew it was not for my spirit when I felt like it's like rules and I should do this. I have to be a certain way. I have to act a certain way. It was like a certain type of unrealistic expectations that I knew I could not follow or live up to. I really felt caged in. Like my spirit felt caged in. Like I can't look at nobody else. I can't talk to nobody else. I can't sit with nobody else. I can't be me. And I'm an outgoing type of person.
Yeah.
So if you are offended that I am talking to another person, we're gonna have a problem.
So I think that's an important point. This idea of forced monogamy in a sense. What you just explained, I've talked to some of my guy friends and they're like, yo, I really love the girl who I'm with, but I feel like I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. I feel like I'm supposed to be this husband, this father, and this is really not who I want to be. My instincts don't align with this. My nature doesn't align with this. What do you think about men and monogamy? Do you feel like monogamy is realistic for most men?
So I've learned that even as, because we're still like animals, like in our species, it's not realistic, like us being monogamous. Yes, we can do it with like one person for a time period, but if you look at your lifespan, you have multiple relationships. Just how you have multiple friends, you have multiple family, you love multiple people.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to just love one person. Your love should be exclusive, not inclusive.
Where do you think this idea of monogamy comes from? If that's the case, why do we push so hard for monogamy in our society?
I think it's out of control because they can control two people, but imagine if all of us all love each other in a group of us, a whole gang out here. If you messing with her, you gotta mess with him, her, like all of us. But if you're just closed off from the world, it's just you and your partner. It's this nuclear family that keeps you in your own bubble. It's like my family, mine, not we. Village.
So you think it keeps us separated?
Yes. It keeps us not having a tribal mentality no more. No, it really takes a village to even raise a little human. But now we don't even have a village mentality no more. All we thinking about is my family, my cook. You know, it's none of this we.
Yeah. That's real. That's real. It's interesting that you say that. I met someone who practices polygamy. So they're in a situation where it's a man and then there's two women, and they literally said the same thing. One of the things they talked about is having a village mentality, and the kids just feel like they have two mothers. It's more of an extended family, and it works for them because they just have more people there to support them. I thought that was interesting because I think that we kind of see it in the opposite way, where we think of these non-monogamous relationships as being dysfunctional. It's going to cause a lot of havoc in your household. But if we are having a village mentality, like our ancestors did from Africa, okay, is that something that would be more beneficial for our family units today?
Oh my goodness, I just saw Women King, and I'm telling you, like, this sisterhood, the unity that they came together, it's like we dying for each other.
Yeah.
We don't got that type of energy. Okay, I'll see you later. Like, it's not the same. change.
Yeah.
It's a group mentality. If we really want to conquer this illusion and this reality, we have to stick together. We have to put our differences aside. And I think the main reason why people are so timid or afraid of non-traditional is because of jealousy.
Talk about it. That's me all day. I already know. So funny, when I was talking to the person that I mentioned who's in the polygamous marriage, they were asking me like, well, what are your viewpoints? I was like, you know what? Talking to you was always so real and you make logical sense, but I just can't do it. Like, I know me, I can't do something that's not monogamy. And they were like, well, why? And it wasn't like pressuring me, but they really wanted to know why. And I was like, I mean, I just feel like I just want to have my person and that's my best friend and I would feel insecure. And they were like, so ego, possession, jealousy. And I'm just like, well, dang, like I've always said, and maybe this is like a Scorpio tendency, I know I can be possessive, right? Over anybody who I love. It could be family, friends, someone I'm dating. Like, once I have my people, it's like, these are my people, I'm protective over them. Could that be a big reason why people are choosing one partner? And is that a healthy reason to choose one partner? Because it's a sense of ownership versus respecting their autonomy.
Like your friend said, it's ego.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are operating ego and identifying that with self and their partners and their relationships and what they do for a living. It's all ego.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine taking yourself out the equation. All right, take yourself out. Can this person really just be free to be themselves and just allowing them to fall? Like, not trying to catch them. Let them fall. Let them make their mistakes. Let them grow. Let them explore their sexuality. Let them explore themselves. Like, are we able to let them? When I do feel jealousy rising up, I have to check in with myself. Like, why am I feeling like this? Like, why am I feeling a bit insecure? And I have to check that in with myself. And I think most people have to check in with themselves instead of checking their partner.
Just thinking about dating, I've had those conversations with myself where I'm like, I'm mad if somebody didn't text me back when I wanted them to. You didn't call me, you didn't try to see me this number of times, I feel away. And I'm like, well, why do you feel like that? You know, are you really caring about the person, or is it just that feeling of attention that they're giving you that you feel like you're addicted to?
Because we be addicted to love. Love is the biggest addiction right now. And that's why I realized we don't really be in love. We be in attachment. And what are we attaching ourselves to make it feel like this is us, or we have this ownership over this person? That's what we have to really dissect, because a lot of times it can really just stem off of what we want instead of like what's the best overall for this person. If we genuinely love, if we're operating for love, we want them to like live their life and we want the best for us. But we gotta stop being so invested in other people and be more invested in ourselves. That's the biggest thing. We be too invested.
Yeah.
That's why we be so offended when they do certain things to us.
I want to go back to the clip that I inserted in the beginning from Miss Ali. Very, very interesting and profound woman. Her perspective is that women focus too much on the fact that they have to have a man to themselves. And so what she was saying is, if you have a man who's paying all the bills, he gives you all the attention that you need, you guys have a beautiful family, and then you find out that he has women on the side, if he's still keeping you happy in every other way that you ask for, is that something that you should be making a big deal? Or should you A, choose to accept it, or B, walk away from that man instead of forcing monogamy on him?
Ooh.
What do you think about that?
Oh, see, I feel like I label myself as solo poly. I am my first primary partner. I am the main course, and I got a little bit of side pieces.
Okay.
The mac and cheese, the yams, but I'm the fried chicken.
Greens, potato.
I know that some people are just meant to have fun with, and some people are not yours. You don't have possession over them, and you can't control. But like, if we can just be in the moment with each other, if they're treating you well in this moment, then let's just focus on that, not focus on what they doing behind your back, or is they disrespecting you. I think it will be much more easier in the long run if we stop caring about what other people are doing and care about what we doing. You should mind your damn business. Whatever they're gonna do is gonna come to the light, and you have a choice whether you can deal with it or move around it. But if they're not physically harming you or damaging you in some way, if they're not bringing you peace, then leave. leave. But if you're having a peaceful journey and they're along with the ride, then cool. But you got to be the main character in your story. Stop making somebody the main character in your movie.
I do want to expand on that because this kind of ties in cheating. And I know what your thoughts are on cheating, but I want you to explain to them how you feel about the term cheating.
Man, this whole people really feel some type of betrayal, and I understand, but let's get ourselves out of this equation and look at it for what it is. Most people lack self-control within themselves, and most people don't have the discipline. So we're asking for a lot out of these people if they don't even have the discipline within themselves or master themselves yet. So now we want them to act a certain way and be a certain person that they're not. They haven't even controlled their own desires yet. So I think that if someone continues to act like a victim, you're going to continue to get your heart broke because you're paying too much attention on someone else and you can't control other people. Like, I'm so sorry, you cannot control them. You cannot control them. And we hand over our power saying, oh, you cheated on me, or you betrayed me, or you did this to me. You have a choice here. You don't have to deal with other people's actions if they're causing you chaos. That has nothing to do with me, what you decide to do with your body. And I can't get offended with it, but I can choose if I want to continue this journey with you or not, or love you from a distance.
But that's the thing, and I think all of this kind of circles back to self-love. A lot of people will go through with something that they know they're not happy with, or continue on with someone who they don't really trust because they're scared of being by themselves. Isn't that something? Like, you would really go through turmoil. You are heartbroken. You're feeling the need to go through somebody's phone. You got to check his DMs. All of that instead of stepping outside and being like, let me just be by myself. I know you said you don't follow celebrities a lot, but you know who NBA Youngboy is?
Yeah.
NBA Youngboy, he's a rapper. He's about 19, I would say, years old. He was dating a 27-year-old.
Okay.
And so she comes on live saying that he cheated on her. She's like, oh my God, I don't know how he could do this to me. And he was like, no. He made his own video and he was like, I told her, I will hold down the fort, I will pay the bills, but I like to have multiple different women. She agreed to those terms, and then she realized that once she was in it, that she couldn't deal with it. And so in her head, she's like, oh my God, he cheated on me. But he's like, I didn't cheat on you. Like, this is something that I told you from jump. And I think it's something that we see a lot where men will tell women from the very beginning what it is, whether it's a casual situation. I'm not looking for anything, and we try to change it. We always like to try to build a man.
We don't want to change them.
Except changing ourselves.
He is still himself, and that's what we gotta accept them for themselves. I admire NBA Youngboy. Yes, he's a Libra, keeping it real with the girl. When you are in that high status in life, you know how many women are just throwing themselves?
Yeah.
It's so easy to get pussy.
Yeah.
Most men are not gonna turn down pussy. Like, if it's thrown at you,
Yeah.
they're not going to turn it down.
Yeah.
They don't have that type of capacity in their mind, or even they're not really operating from self-love. They actually boost their ego getting women. Like, that makes them a man for real. That really defines them, like how much women they can conquer, how much women they can sleep with, because that's the frequency that they're on right now.
And so this kind of ties into the conversation where we talk about biology and what's kind of ingrained in us. And so a lot of men will say it's my natural instinct to want to sleep with a lot of women, to spread my seed, pass on my genetics. I'm always iffy about that because I think that what's different between us humans and other animals or mammals, that we have higher level thinking, right? So it's very possible for you to say, I might have these urges, but I have the mental capacity to not do it. That self-control, like you were mentioning. With that being said, I think that men just need to be honest with themselves and with women. Like, there are men out there, and I just want to clarify, I do think that there are men out there who really are okay with monogamy, and they're like, I want one partner, that's gonna be my person, that's it. For the men who are not okay with that, I think where they go wrong is they try to force it. You try to sell women these dreams, you try to live your life according to paper, what you think you should do, and you're really not happy, and then you cause your partner to be unhappy because you cheat. And it's like, why just not be honest from the beginning?
They're not honest with themselves. They truly want their cake and eat it too, because if you give a woman the option, like, okay, I'm gonna do me, so you do you. But they're like, hold on, you can't do you.
Oh,
Yes. Do you?
Yes.
I can do me, but you can't do
Where do you think that comes from? And I want to talk about that because, yes, a a lot of men will say that. And then when a woman is like, okay, so do I get to have fun and have other partners too? They're like, no, absolutely not. Do you think that's solely driven by ego?
I think it really makes them fragile within themselves, like another man inside of their woman. But imagine if she's not having sex with these men though. Like she's doing her. Like, are you able to handle that?
Just an emotional connection.
Yeah, she's able to just really be herself and talk to other men. I really think the ego is very fragile though. A lot of men don't even want to be in competition with like trying to win you over anymore. It's like, oh, you too hard to get. I'm gonna tap out.
It's like the mindset has kind of shifted where it's like men are saying, no, I want you to compete for me now. By nature, if we're going by the whole genetics, natural instincts, you are supposed to be competitive. You are the one who's the hunter. You have to have those instincts. So it's always interesting to see how we selectively decide what things are genetic, it's ingrained in us, versus no, we can't absolutely do that.
You think you could actually do like non-monogamy?
You know what? It's probably not my top choice, and I'm 1000% aware that it has to do with ego. What I will say is that if I was in a relationship and my partner told me that their mind has changed and they can't do monogamy, I would be open to hearing what they have to say if I felt like that person was worth it. If I feel like the pros outweigh the cons and I still want this person in my life, I'm open to hearing it. But I want my partner to know that I'm receptive to that type of dialogue, because I think that a lot of women aren't receptive to that type of dialogue, and that's why people start doing things on the side versus just being honest. But men, don't watch my videos thinking that I'm out here saying that I'm signing up for non-monogamy, because I'm not. I think it's interesting just hearing these different perspectives so that you know what other people are doing. We're raised with certain beliefs, and it's like, you're supposed to be this way, and we don't really question, well, what else is out there? Sometimes you learn about other things and it makes you realize that whatever belief you were raised on, that identifies with you, and sometimes that's not the case. And so I just try to educate myself on everything.
Expanding our mindset, and it's going to look different and weird to some people that are not willing to even learn, or just ignorant, or just thinking that everyone has to be a certain way. It's not familiar. It's a threat to some people that are not comfortable within themselves. I would probably think very different if I was sexually involved with other people. I would feel triggered. I will feel jealousy. That's human nature. If you don't want to feel that way, I don't think you should be so sexually involved with other people. I know it's unpopular.
For me, I mean, as always, I preach transparency. I think that if you're honest about what your strong points are, what your limitations are, and you just really vocalize that to whoever you're trying to date, these issues with forced monogamy and feeling like you gotta hide things and cheat, that wouldn't be a thing. It would be non-existent.
Let's continue to ask questions and be curious with one another. Have these type of dialogues is necessary.
Tara, it's always good to have you on the channel. You are such a powerhouse. It was a dope discussion today. I'm so happy that I was able to connect with you again. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know we touched on a lot of different things, but what are your thoughts on non-monogamy? Do you think that non-monogamy could benefit our society? And is it realistic for you to be in a non-monogamous relationship? All right, as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.